this video is going to be juicy, and it's likely going to trigger some people because, well, these are signs of emotional weaknesses. Now, I've written down 15 here, and so these are based off of my perception of people around me and then also things within myself that I've healed. And so noticing these kinds of patterns through time and then reprogramming it. So I want to do a signs of emotional weakness video, which is this one, and then I also want to do a signs of emotional strength, which I'll do later on, so that way we get both sides of the coin. So I will also be going through one by one and then explaining more about them following just the listing of them, because I want to make sure that anybody that is just here to get the signs has these available. And then I'll also put them down in the description. And then also I will be putting down, if you want to visit my website, or if you want one-on-one consultations, or if you just want to donate, I'll put the Cash App down below if you value this content and you want to support this content. Liking, subscribing, and commenting is the best way to show your support for this channel. But I know other people have also wanted to donate Bitcoin and everything like that. So the Cash App is going to be the best route to take for that. So I'll leave that in the description below. Without further ado, let's get to it. So, number 1, not believing in yourself. Number 2, trying to avoid the consequences of reality. Number 3, making decisions based off of emotion. Number 4, self-pity. Number 5, thinking that you are entitled to success. 6, impatience. 7, impulse control, lack thereof. 8, being defensive to feedback. Number 9, telling yourself, I can't. Number 10, telling yourself, I give up. Number 11, being resistant to change. Number 12, seeking validation or sympathy from people outside yourself for the sake of making yourself feel better about your life situation. Number 13, despising others that are successful. Number 14, avoiding confrontations. And number 15, poor boundaries and no boundaries. So now that we've got the 15 laid out, let's go through them a little bit more individually and expand on what you can do or what happens when you do these kinds of things and how it influences your spiritual state, your emotional state, and your physical state. Well, so number 1, not believing in yourself. When you don't believe in yourself, how is anybody going to take you seriously? How is anybody going to be able to really acknowledge or respect you if you don't believe in yourself? And showing a belief in yourself is, by definition, confidence. That's really what confidence can come down to, is showing a belief in who you are and what you bring to the table and just what you're here to do. If you're not capable of believing in yourself, not very many people are going to want to be around you. So choose to believe in yourself. And you'll notice that a lot of these signs of emotional weakness, they're all correlated with making a choice, right? You don't have to be emotionally weak. Now, I was very emotionally weak for a long time. I let people walk all over me. I was very poor in my boundaries. I didn't know how to set boundaries. I didn't have a backbone. I didn't really know what it was like to believe in who I was. And I had no impulse control. I was fat, I was lazy, and I was very impatient with a lot of these things that I wanted to get there now. I wanted to get there now. I wanted to get there today. I wanted to get there today. And it's good to have that mindset of like striving and ambition, but to expect results like that, it's not going to work. So those are just a few things that I had to confront going through. So like know that you're not alone when you're understanding these emotional weaknesses, and there are ways that you can improve. Knowing what your weaknesses are is a fantastic place to start. And these are not always like these are not the end all be all of the emotional weaknesses, but they are a stepping stone on the path to emotional strength. So number 2, trying to avoid the consequences of reality. This also comes down to accountability and learning how to take responsibility for your actions. When you can want to be certain things, or you can want to do certain things. Like I can want to have a yacht. I don't know. I'm just thinking of something random that's like outlandish. I can want to have a yacht, but in order to get a yacht, I'm going to have to take a lot of necessary steps to get to the point where I want to be in order to even be able to purchase a yacht. So it takes time, it takes money, it takes effort, and it's not going to happen in one night. But if I just try to purchase one, or just if I were to steal one, that and then expect it to be mine, that's not how reality works, right? So I would be avoiding the consequences of reality by trying to, now this is a very like outlandish example, but you get the point. So avoiding any kind of consequence of reality is going to only hinder you on your success and on your spiritual path altogether. Number 3, making decisions based off of emotion. I learned a long time ago that in business, you must never, ever, ever make a emotional decision. For example, this can be any part of aspect of your life. And remember, relationships are kind of a business transaction at the end of the day, right? So depending on like who you are meeting or you are talking to, there's always some kind of transaction. Now, I'm not saying relationships are strictly transactional or they should only be transactional. What I'm saying is that, as I've said before, your net worth is your network. So the people that you are surrounding yourself with are also going to be the people that lift you up or tear you down. So when you make a decision based off of emotion, let's say you're buying a stock and you really want this stock, but it's on the upstream, right? So it's going up in the amount of the stock, to purchase I'm blanking on the term now. A share, that's what it is. To purchase a share, the stock is going up in price. Now you purchase a stock as it's going up in price, knowing that the likelihood of it dropping soon, within the next few days or so, might be likely. But it might also keep going up. But you just feel like the stock is going to go up. But it doesn't. So you place $1,000 on shares for this one stock, and the next day it drops by 30%, and so now you're down to $700 in your total, and you've lost $300. That's not a very good trade, right? But you really wanted it because it was cool. It was a cool stock. Well, there's a lot of different perspectives that you need to look at in order to buy a stock. And in some ways, relationships are like buying stocks and investing in stocks. You don't want to, let's say if you're just starting to date somebody, if this is a potential stock that's, you know, got some leeway to go up in the near future, you're going to want to invest in time and energy into that stock with this person. Now, I'm not saying you should treat people as stocks. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just, again, using this as a metaphor. So whenever you make decisions based off of emotions, your likelihood of success drastically is going to decrease, because you may feel like somebody is worth being in your life, and yet, you know, you're not taking into account their situation or their perspective as well. So you have many different ways to look at how to not base your decisions off of emotion, because when you base your decisions off of emotion, things usually don't go that well. Self-pity, number 4. Don't milk yourself in self-pity. Do not feel sorry for yourself. And don't seek for other people to feel sorry for you. This kind of goes in line with number 12, seeking validation and sympathy for your life from others. But don't milk yourself in self-pity and just, woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. Get a grip on your life and understand that the more you milk yourself in self-pity, the less honey in life you're going to be able to find. Number 5, thinking that you were entitled to success. This was me too at one point. And I thought that, well, if I just started speaking my truth, I was going to be entitled to get what I want in the universe. And then I realized that there's the truth and there are falsehoods. And just because you believe something to be true doesn't necessarily make it true. There are many different aspects that go into truth apart from just wanting to feel like it's true. There's a difference between knowing it's true and wanting to feel like it is. And so being entitled to success, a lot of the times, I think probably one of the reasons that I failed in some of my business ventures from years before is that I thought that by not doing work, I would just, like, the money would just be coming in. And I didn't know that I really had to put a lot of effort in order to just get my business off the ground. And I was thinking that if I just created this product, people would want it. But that's not really the way the market works. So, you know, that's you can't be entitled to success. That's going to hinder you again. That's going to hinder you. Number 6, being impatient. Impatience kills all productivity. Like, and morale, really, too. Like, I'm sure you all have had some kind of work situation in the past where the supervisor's impatience about getting a task done actually hurt the quality of the task that was needing to be done in of itself. Now, of course, you know, one of the keys to making money is speed, right? You have to be quick, you have to be alert, you have to be vigilant. But if you're impatient, and like I remember, like I was working in marketing, right? And well, I still am, but one of the clients that I was working with, when we fixed their website, they wanted to increase their sales by 200% over the next week after like just one website rebuild. And it's like, well, that's not exactly how this works. Like it's going to take search engine optimization. It's going to take ads. Like you can't just build the website and then expect it to just accumulate organic traffic. Now that can happen, but it's not going to be a very successful website because you still need that online presence and that presence available. That's also very much a thing that I've learned with YouTube videos. Just making YouTube videos, I have to be consistent, else I'm not going to be able to get the reach that I want. And so this kind of consistency helps me and helps other people all around, because you're getting quality information and education on real life things, and I'm being able to better formulate and articulate my ideas and perceptions of reality. Number 7 is impulse control. So when you don't have impulse control, what happens? Well, there are usually things like rage that can happen, getting like over aggressive with anger. You can also be like you might not have any self control when it comes to food, or when it comes to purchasing things or shopping. You might spend money in order to make yourself feel better or get that dopamine rush, or you might be in promiscuous relationships because you don't have any kind of integrity on who you are as a person and where you put your stuff, or where you allow things to be put in your stuff. So impulse control is going to save you a lot of time. It's going to save you a lot of money, and it's going to save you a lot of headache down the road as well. It's the, it's the delayed gratification. That's what it is. It's delayed gratification is going to be your key to understanding more about this emotional weakness. Number 8, being defensive to feedback. People that can't take critiques are not to be trusted, in my experience. In fact, anybody that can't take a critique, I automatically think, okay, this person has narcissistic tendencies. This person has a lot of childhood trauma. This person may be used to getting what they want and may be used to controlling people. In fact, whenever anybody is defensive on feedback, I automatically know that I'm triggering something within them. And it's not always the case that the person is a narcissist. However, you'll find that narcissists are very defensive to feedback. If they want to talk about something and then you say, well, I feel this way when you do that, or I don't like it when you do this. Well, they might take that to be a personal attack, and it's not necessarily a personal attack, but it's like, let's say, imagine, as a man with a girl in their relationship, and he says, hey, like, I don't like when you flirt with other men. Now, he comes off as very confident, and obviously he's putting a boundary down, so that's good. But if the woman takes it as like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I won't do that again, that's like, or if she says, well, what's the big deal? Like, I'm just flirting. It's not like I'm sleeping with the guy. That's something you want to run away from. That's somebody that is not going to be able to be in a sustainable relationship down the line. But if she asked him, well, why don't you like it? And he just said, like, well, I just don't like it. I don't like seeing you flirt with other guys in front of me, or I don't want to, like, because if you do that in front of me, who's to say what's happening when I'm not around? So that's how you can kind of approach this and understand if the person is being defensive in their feedback. If the girl at that point would say, oh, well, and she just started shaming him, say, oh, you're insecure, you just don't trust me, and putting the blame on him, then that's a wrap. The guy should know to walk away. And vice versa. Like that situation goes for vice versa. Uh, if you're in an exclusive relationship, that is. Number 9, telling yourself, I can't. Anytime anybody says these words around me in my presence, I automatically think less of them. And it's not out of like hatred or anything like that. It's just like, all right, this person's not who they want to be, and they've still got a lot of growing to do. And it's not that I'm judging you, it's just that you're not on my level, son. That's just as simple as that. And I don't tell myself I can't anymore. Like, telling yourself I can't, just what are you telling? Like, if you tell yourself I can't, how are you going to ever be able to do anything in life? Even if you have doubts about what you can and can't do, always have the mindset of I can do it. Because what's the alternative? Like, oh, I can't. Like, well, you're just giving up. You're just giving up, which leads us to number 10, which is telling yourself, I give up. I was at the gym the other day, and I heard this person say, I give up. I can't do this. I give up. And I was like, my goodness, like, I don't even remember what that was like to say that to myself. I remember I would say it to myself years ago, like, I give up. But now, being who I am, it's like I can't even picture myself saying something like that. So telling yourself I give up, you surrender all of your critical cognitive thinking abilities. You let go of all of your logic, and you let go of all of your reason, even your reason to live. So that's just a really big emotional weakness. Again, I just don't even recommend that at all. Telling yourself this, and you have to notice it too, because sometimes you might not even notice it. Like, oh, I give up. Something's wrong with me. I can't give up. Like, I gotta give up. No. Number 11, being resistant to change. So change is definitely something that takes courage. Change is something that takes great consideration and observation. You might be going through a change right now in your life. And one of the ways that you need to change, you don't want to do it. That's probably, and if you know it's good for you, even though you don't want to do it, that even more so means you should probably do it and change. Number 12, seeking validation and sympathy for your life from others. So we've touched on this a little bit with number 4, self-pity, but anytime you seek sympathy for your life, you are destroying your own self-worth. You are attacking your self-esteem. You are degrading yourself to yourself because you do not believe that you are even worthy of your own respect. That's an emotional weakness. Despising others that are successful, number 13. When you are jealous or envious of people that are more successful than you and they're working harder than you, you've got nothing to say, man. Like, you've got nothing to say. And if they are being more successful than you, like, you can tell them, like, I'm impressed. Like, I respect what you're doing. I like what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with seeing people that are more successful than you and liking it. Like, isn't that like kind of the society we all say that we want, but we don't really do it, right? So next time you see someone that is doing better in life than you are, if your first thought is to be envious or jealous, instead notice that, and then I want you to go give them a compliment on whatever it is that you actually are jealous of. And really mean it. Don't just say it, because some people will just try to give you compliments and flattery just because, they want to get something from you. And in the Bible it says flattery is the tongue of the wicked, I believe. So don't flatter just for the sake of flattering, but do it because you notice something in yourself that you need to change and you need to update and reprogram. It's cool to see like other people successful. There's plenty of pie here, man. Like, we've got plenty of stuff going on. The more that people can become more successful, the better humanity will be. Humanity will rise when we praise the success of other people. Number 14, avoiding confrontation. This is another thing that kind of goes back to number 8, what we said about being defensive to feedback in that relationship dynamic example between the boyfriend and the girlfriend. And you have to not be scared to confront the situation. You have to not be scared to say, all right, I'm different here. Like, I don't agree. Now, I'm not saying you should argue. I'm saying that you can have a disagreement and be okay with it. Number 15, poor boundaries and healthy boundaries, or no boundaries. So the antidote is healthy boundaries, but oftentimes the poor boundaries and no boundaries are so confusing to people that they don't understand what it's like to have healthy boundaries. And so their boundaries are always blurred, and sometimes they overshare and sometimes they are too reserved and they don't share enough to make an actual connection. So what do? Well, you have to notice other people that have healthy boundaries or that have different boundaries than you, see what they're doing, and then make adjustments from there. Because if you've never been around people with healthy boundaries, the likelihood of you even knowing what a boundary is almost zero. Okay? I know that's what it was for me. By the time I turned 18, 19, and I realized how poor my boundaries were, it took me probably 4 or 5 years before I even started to really stand up for, I would say 4 years before I really started to stand up for who I was and stand up for myself. And so you can do this with I statements, taking ownership of who you are and your emotions. I am this. I don't like it when this happens. I'm not saying complain, but it's kind of going back to the boyfriend-girlfriend relationship again, right? So I don't like it when you flirt with other men. I don't like it when you flirt with other women in front of me. That's a boundary. Like, that's saying, like, look, like, you're kind of crossing the line here, and I don't like it. Now, let's mark our territory and let's occupy this territory. I'm not insecure, but I am territorial. So are you with me or are you not? And that's basically where you can establish that. And also, one thing that I know that I've done recently is, like, if you're not standing by me, if you're not standing with me, if you are not cheering me on, you can go over there. Because I really don't give a fuck what you have to say then. Because you're probably not who you say you are. That's my experience. People that don't stand by you and that don't cheer you on. Now, there's a difference between telling somebody the truth and being straight up and direct, and them not liking it and trying to manipulate the situation, of course. But the essence here is make sure the people that are either with you, cheering you on, or they go somewhere else, or you go somewhere else. So, with that being said, those are the signs of emotional weakness. I hope this message was informative and insightful. And until next time, peace be with you.